Okay, so time for an update. As you can see, we're back in Unity. I revisited my old project a while back and realized that I had made a good bit of progress with it, more than I thought at least. So I decided to keep playing with it and do some more tutorials, read a few books, and well, so far it's been clicking pretty well. I understand the engine a lot better than I used to, and who knows if I'll use it for future games or not, but for right now, I'm fairly satisfied with it. A few quirks here and there. I kind of like the engine better in Unreal, but Unity has a lot of good features for this kind of game. For example, just the ability to quickly add scripts or components to pretty much anything at will just makes it easier for me to create the kind of game that I'm working on. But anyway, let's take a look and see what we have here. Okay, so this is mostly just a test area. These aren't even, well, may not even be the final graphics. I just wanted something so I can see what's going on. Just something to see the characters, the lighting, the objects, get some texture work done. Just something to make decisions with so that I can see, what everything would look like in the final game. At least a rough idea of what it might look like so I can see if there are any issues or something doesn't really look right at all, or whatever. And the HUD is pretty much the same way. Most of these are about old icons from the previous iterations of the game, but for right now I just put them there just so I can see what it would look like. I remade the HUD itself in Modo, so that's actually a 3D. Of course, it's a 2D render. The shaders I bought off the asset store. I don't really have much experience with animated shaders and haven't had time to fool with it, but who knows, maybe in the future I'll have time for that. And they are functional. I mean, I can click a button here and you can see it ticking down, so I have at least gotten it to work, just haven't really fooled with it a whole lot. Anyway, so I have basic pathfinding here. You can see he'll walk around wherever. I haven't really fine-tuned anything. I'm using the old animations from the old character, and I'll probably tweak those. Now that he's going to be carrying a shield most likely in his hand here, I'll probably tweak the walk animation to make it wobble back and forth a little bit less. I'm going with a barbarian character this time, just because it made a little bit more sense combat-wise. I haven't really decided if I'm going to even use ranged weapons or not, and I'm not sure how I'm going to handle sneaking yet. So once all those decisions are made and I've had a chance to actually test out things and see what I like and what I don't like, then I can make decisions on what kind of character I want. But I'm kind of liking him so far because he works for about anything. I have a cape set up using the cloth material in Unity. As you can see, it does a pretty good job. I built the mesh in Modo, but the cloth material is basically generated in Unity and then just pinned to the character, attached to a bone, and there's a little cylinder hidden in there to keep it from clipping into the body. The textures are still fairly rough. I'm going to redo the characters anyway. These characters are about between 3,000 to 4,000 polygons each, not counting the helmets, swords, shields, or cape, but those are fairly light. Anyway, there's no point in adding extreme details to these little things you can't even see. But I have another character that I'm working on that's a little bit cleaner. This one was created originally in ZBrush, and I had a little bit of trouble cleaning it up in Modo because some of the edge loops just don't really do very well. I mean, it still works, still looks fine, but I'm working on a new one that's just a little bit cleaner, easier to work with, and about half the polygons for the same amount of detail. So at this distance where the characters are going to be so small, there's no point in having excessive detail sticking out that you won't even see anyway, when I can do a lot of that with a simple normal map and texture work. And I have a basic state machine set up for the animations. He has a walk animation, basically simple idle animation, the same one I had before. Just used it temporarily just so I can see what it looks like in motion, make sure it's working okay. I'll probably have more elaborate idle animation for the final game. And I have an attack animation set up. If I right click, it just goes into attack mode and stops when I walk. So you can get an idea of what it looks like. Now this is just a basic stab from the old character. Not anything terribly exciting, but I'll have at least a couple animations for attacking, something overhand probably, something underhand, just mix it up a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a variety of weapons, maybe a short sword, dagger, long sword, stuff like that, but it just depends. I may have a Morningstar or mace or whatever, but I haven't decided yet. And of course each one will have a different level of quality and perhaps a blacksmith station here and there that you can use to improve the weapons or whatever. And I may have the weapons get dull or break during use. I haven't decided yet. I'm using a highlight asset that I bought off the asset store. I could do it myself, of course, but this one looked really nice and worked pretty well. So I'm using that for right now. You can change the colors of highlights and set it up pretty easily. I don't know if it supports Playmaker or not, but I'm using C# for this game. I don't even have Playmaker installed at the moment. Everything has been built pretty much from scratch in C#. Let's see. A simple particle effect with a halo and a point light for the torch effect. And it's a real-time light. I had experimented with some baked lighting, but then it tends to lose the normal maps and the walls and the floor, and just doesn't look quite as good. And this way I get nice shadow effects. Now I am using a directional light as well to light the characters. You may have noticed that they are a little bit well lit, but not to extremes. But the reason for that is, well, I'll show you. If I turn off the character light, this is what it looks like. So yeah, you'd be basically looking at a shadow the entire time, unless I get the guy right in front of the light. Just even then, it's still mostly dark and in shadow, and you can't really tell one character from the next. So that's why I decided to enable the point light the entire time, no matter where they are. So if they enter a shadowy area, they'll still be lit, of course, but it's a trade-off. Either I have dark characters that you can't see at all, or I have some sort of lighting that looks slightly artificial. But in a game like this, with lots of pointing and clicking from a distance, I think that making everything stand out and be easy to see, easy to read, is more important than trying to get it to be 100% realistic with the lighting and everything like that. It just, you need to be able to see what's going on. I don't think it'd be a whole lot of fun seeing a character in shadow, even if it was realistic. But anyway, so be working on my Unity book I just got, and then an AI book, then eventually getting back to work on this. I just wanted to get enough done on this for right now, just to see what I have to work with, make sure everything is going okay, and so I can start getting a feel for how it's going to look and come back to it later and say, okay, well, I don't like this anymore or whatnot. Just want to get something down so I can, just see what I have to work with. Because you'll always change your mind. You'll see something later on and you'll realize that you can do slightly better, a little bit different. Maybe it doesn't work quite as well as you originally thought. So when I come back with fresh eyes, everything will probably be tweaked a little bit. And of course these pieces here are all modular, with that ProGrid 2 snapping asset. I can take a wall section. For example, this wall here is all one piece. I can just click on that, move it over here about 2 seconds, copy and pasting, and build out a hallway in just a few seconds. A lot faster than what I was doing in Construct 2, where I had to pre-render everything, and if I want to make a change I had to re-render the whole thing again, and then set up pathfinding again. I'm keeping everything in groups organized into empty game objects that are labeled as master objects for the architecture objects or players or whatnot, so that I can quickly just select that and then just regenerate the navigation mesh, and or just make it easy to organize everything. Let's see, that about covers everything. So I guess that's it for now, and I'll talk to you later.